Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope everyone is doing well. Today we have come with the chapter Microorganisms, the Microbial World of Class 8 subject Biology. So yes, in this chapter we are going to learn about the different characteristic features of microorganisms, about the types of microorganism, about the uses in different ways, as well as some of the microorganisms which are harmful to plants and animals. So let's begin with the chapter. So yes, chapter number 2 of your class 8, microorganisms. They may be friend as well as they may be foe. So first of all, as you know that living organism shows a great variety in shape and size. So if you look around yourself, you will find number of living organisms which have different shape as well as their size. And some organisms you see that they may be big in size, they may be smaller in size. Like example, elephant, you can see it is a very huge animal, whereas if we talk, then there are small very tiny organisms such as ant and termites. But these small organisms that are too tiny and they can be seen with our unaided eyes. But yes, there are certain organisms which cannot be seen with our unaided eyes, and that needs a special instrument. So do you know about the name of that instrument, children? Yes, right, that is microscope. So such organisms which cannot be seen under with our unaided eyes can be seen with the help of microscope. So first of all, we'll just discuss about the basic characteristic of microorganism, that is they are present all around us, but they are too small to be seen with our naked eyes. And if you see, then they are present everywhere. They are present in the atmosphere, they are present in the water, soil, even they are present in your hands, mobile phones. Everywhere you can see the microorganisms are present, but yes, they cannot be seen with our naked eyes. So microorganisms, children, a branch of science that involves the study of microorganisms is called as microbiology. So as our know, biology is a very huge branch and it is also divided into different branches, but one of the branches in which it involves the study of microorganism is called as microbiology, and the one who studies about the microorganisms are known as microbiologist. So yes, microorganisms are found almost everywhere on the earth and they influences our lives in various ways. So let's learn about them in detail. So first of all, microorganisms or microbes are so small in size that they cannot be seen with our unaided eyes. Some of them, such as fungus that grow on bread, this you can see in your daily life, children. At your home also you must have observed that on the rotis or on the bread which is kept open, and after some days you will see some kind of patches grows on the rotis or bread, and that is your fungus. Others cannot be seen with our naked eyes, but yes, for them what is required is microscope. So that is why these are called as microorganisms or microbes, because micro means too small to be seen with our naked eyes. For that, what is required? Microscope is required. And yeah, there are different type of microorganisms. They are classified on the base of their characteristics, on the base of shape, size, and they are of different types. So among them are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and some algae. So yes, microorganisms means microbes, and they are very small which cannot be seen with our unaided eyes, and they require a microscope. And some of the characteristic of microorganisms are that apart from being invisible to an unaided human eyes, microorganisms are also having some characteristic features, that is they can survive in extremely environmental conditions such as extremely heat or cold, which may be seen inappropriate for the human beings. How do microbes survive in these conditions? So they form a hard outer covering which is called as cyst, and which protect them from these harsh conditions, and they always remain active inside this cyst. They also occurs as a single, or they may be found in a group, and they are called as colonies. So this microorganism may be unicellular, that is they are made up of single cell, made up of only single cell, and they may be multicellular, made up of more than one cell. So they exist in different forms, that is unicellular and multicellular. Whereas microorganism may exist alone or in the colonies, Even they can be beneficial or they may be harmful to us. Like you can see the example, like you must have observed that during the rainy seasons moist bread gets spoiled and its surface get covered with the greenish white patches, as I told you earlier. So this is how microorganisms can affect the things. And as I earlier I told you that a microscope is required to observe this microorganisms, and some microbes cannot be can be seen on bread with the help of magnifying glass also, and while others which are visible only under the microscope. So this is an picture of compound microscope which is mostly used to see the simple microorganism under the microscope. Now children, this is one activity to check whether the microorganisms are present in our surrounding or not. So yes, take some few drops of water from a pond and spread on the glass slide. And what we will observe under the microscope, do we find any tiny organisms moving around? So let's check with this small activity. For to do this activity, what it requires a microscope, glass slide, cover slips, and a pond. This activity is, first of all, with the help of a dropper, take a small drop of water and keep it on a clean slide, clean a glass slide, and then with the help of cover slip slowly place on the drop of the water to avoid the bubbles, and then observe under the microscope and fix it on the stage, and with the help of different objective lenses you can observe the microorganisms under the microscope. Like this microorganism which you can see is amoeba, which is an unicellular organisms, and yes, it is found almost in the pond water. So you have observed that the pond water many microorganisms are present like amoeba, paramecium, euglena. So these are all unicellular organisms which are found in the pond water, and you can see easily under the drop of water you can see the microorganisms under the microscope. So amoeba, as you know, it keeps on changing its shape. It's a irregular organism and it's keep on changing its shape. And this amoeba is also an protozoan, and which is mostly aquatic in nature because it is most found in water. Small organisms you can observe through the microscope are called as microorganisms, and some of the examples you can see in the next slide. So first of all, where do these microorganisms live and where they are found? So microorganisms are robust organisms that can withstand and the adverse condition, such as particularly they are found everywhere, almost in every part, such as rock, soil, water and air. And microorganisms can be found deep inside the earth, in the boiling hot streams. They are found in the frozen glaciers, in the dry desert, even in the deep sea. And they can be found in our homes as well as on the schools. If you see on your bags, on your books, even on your touchpad, mobile phones, on the moist bread, on a log of food, water bodies of plants, animals, even inside our body. They can survive even in a volcanic eruptions or nuclear blasts. So you can see that microorganisms are present everywhere. These are the type of organisms. They are classified into 5 main types, that is bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa and viruses. So you can see some of the examples of bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoans, and some more are there, but just to remember some of the examples, like bacteria is lactobacillus and E. coli. These are very useful bacteria. Lactobacillus, which is present in the milk, and it helps in converting the milk into curd. And yes, there are examples of algae like Chlamydomonas, Cyrogyra, etc. And fungi, we have bread mold, Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. And protozoans like amoeba, paramecium and etc. But yes, viruses, among all these microorganisms, they have little bit different characteristics. They are very tiny organisms that cannot be seen with even a simple or a compound microscope, and they only be observed by a special microscope known as electron microscope, and do not have any particular cell structure that contains some genetic material surrounded by a protein core. So this microbe shows characteristic of both living as well as living organisms and non-living things. A virus behaves like a living organisms inside the body of an organism, which is also called as host, and it reproduces and carries out all the life processes inside the body of a host. But yes, outside the body of a host, it behaves like a non-living thing and it will not show any kind of activity. So viruses shows both the characteristic living as well as non-living. So if they are outside the body of the living organism, they are non-living, whereas if we talk about the living characteristics, so as soon as they get the host, they will start their life processes. So therefore most of the scientists behave that viruses lie on the borderline between a living organisms and non-living things, and most of the viruses are always harmful because of their parasitic nature, and they causes disease in humans, plants and animals. And some of the diseases which are caused by viruses are common flu, cold, influenza viruses which causes this common flu, and even polio, dengue, chikungunya, swine flu, and yes, nowadays what we can see is the coronavirus. So these are all caused by the viruses. Even plants are infected by the viruses such as tobacco mosaic virus and tomato spotted wilt virus. So later on we will more discuss about the viruses. This was the basic things about the virus, why they are have a different characteristic among the four main type of microorganisms. So these are the different type of microorganisms. As you can see, they have different shape and size. They are categorized on the basis of their shape as well as size. You can see some are of spiral shape, some have spear in shape, some are rod in shape, some are comma in shape. So depend on the kind of structure and size also, they are of different shape and size. Even you can see the shape of the virus, which has a tail, which has a head and different fibers. Then yes, first of all, the bacteria. So bacteria are unicellular tiny organisms and they live together in colonies of millions. They are the simplest living organism and found all around us, and most of them are harmless but few of them are harmful because they can cause diseases such as cholera and tuberculosis. Even bacteria are of different shapes and size. Their size may vary from micron to the centimeters, meters, and the smallest, as you can see, it is from 0.2 to 2 micron. Based on the shape of the bacteria, they are classified into different types like cocci, bacillus, vibrio, spiral, and some of the few examples of bacteria are lactobacillus and streptococcus. So these are some of the examples of bacteria. Then yes, we have protozoans. The word protozoa means little animals. So protozoa are unicellular organisms that have animal like characteristics. They do not have a cell wall, they lack chlorophyll, they can move around to capture food, and most of them are heterotrophic in nature. Now what is heterotrophic in nature? That is, they depend on other for their food. They will feed on other organisms for their food. And some of them are parasitic, that is, they require host such as plasmodium, which causes the disease malaria. So here some are examples of protozoa like amoeba, paramecium and euglena, and most of these protozoans are aquatic in nature and they are found in even in the colonies. Then next we have algae. So algae are mostly group of plant, simple plant like organisms, and they contain chlorophyll. They possess chlorophyll when they make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, and they are usually found in water bodies such as ponds, lakes, rivers, hot springs, seas, and also in the wastewater. And you must have seen that during the rainy season sometimes you can see some greenish color small things are grown on the walls, even on the stones you will see. So they mostly grow in moist places such as moist stone, rock surface near waterfall, and you will see on the bark of the trees also sometimes. So some of these algae are unicellular such as Chlamydomonas, and these unicellular algae are classified as microalgae. And some of the algae are multicellular such as volvox, fucus and spirogyra, and these multicellular algae are classified as macroalgae. And this among the microorganisms or among this algae, spirogyra can be seen with our unaided eyes. And this algae are sometimes used for making different products also, like alginic acid is extracted from a giant brown algae called a scalp, which is an important ingredient used in the ice creams. So even algae are used for making different products. Then yes, already we have discussed about viruses. They are very small, cannot be seen with one naked eyes, which requires microscope. And some of the examples are tobacco mosaic virus and human immunodeficiency virus, which causes the disease AIDS. And some viruses even can infect bacteria, and these viruses are called as bacteriophage. Then we have fungi, that is, fungi are non-green organisms with bodies usually made up of thread-like structures called as hyphae, and this once categorized as non-green plants, and they are not plants as they lack chlorophyll, and even they have cell walls different from plant cell wall. Depending on the mode of nutrition, fungi are classified as saprophytic and parasitic. So fungi are mostly found in warm and moist places. Some of the common examples of fungi are yeast, which are used in the bakeries, then rhizophias, which are used in a bread, which are grown on the bread mold, and agar is like mushroom you have already seen during rainy season, then penicillium, which is used for making antibiotics. And except yeast, all fungi are multicellular, and except mushrooms, all fungi are microscopic. So thank you for today's topic. What we have learned is about the different type of organisms, and in the next coming class we will learn about the usefulness of microorganisms. Thank you very much.